2. What was the question again? Oh, regrets. How do you deal with regrets? There are 2 kinds of regrets. Really, there's like as many kinds of regrets as there are regrets, but I'm going to divide them into 2 arbitrary groups, little regrets and big regrets. They both have basically the same answer, but our brain handles them differently, so I'm going to talk about them differently. For little regrets, you have to celebrate little successes rather than punishing little failures. You're worth it. You are worth the effort that it takes to celebrate the good things that you do, because you are intrinsically valuable, and mistakes that are made or wrong turns are part of life. They're intended, they're planned for, they are often problematic, but that's okay, because we're built of stronger stuff, and we can overcome our problems. For those of you who have very difficult problems that you can't overcome on your own, things that you repeatedly make mistakes and you don't know how to overcome your regrets in a healthy way, I definitely recommend talking to trusted people in your life, and consider the option of going to a therapist of some kind. That's not something to be ashamed of, although it is a scary thing to start, because for many people, they feel weak when they go to a therapist. I definitely understand that. I myself was very scared when I had a psychiatrist appointment. Back in January, I had a couple of appointments like that. I've got one coming up. And I got really, ashamed of myself. But you don't need to be. You can handle it. And you're worth it. You really are. So that aside, if under the circumstances that you've already determined that you don't need a therapist, you need to recognize your intrinsic worth as a person, and you need to recognize that you're worthwhile regardless of the mistakes that you make, and that you're valuable and contribute to the society regardless of whether you see it, regardless of whether others see it, honestly, and that the mistakes that you make can be overcome. The first thing to say is definitely apologize to whomever you've hurt. Do your best to help them heal in any way that best suits them. Don't force them into anything. That just makes it worse. Don't force them into accepting your apology. Make sure that you do whatever you can to make recompense for any big mistakes that you've made. Little ones too, obviously, but especially big ones, because they're the most important. And I'm going to pull religion into this for a second. Forgive me if you aren't religious. I totally respect you and your opinion. I'm not trying to push myself on you. But one major way to help overcome regret is to pull in the atonement of Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ has a very strong power, and I know this for myself, to help overcome regret and help us to move past mistakes that we repeatedly make. And it doesn't happen necessarily the way that we want it to, and it's not necessarily easy either. It's hard work, and it takes dedication, but He'll be with us, working just alongside us too. So I am going to say that is a very important step in overcoming regret. But once again, for those of you who are not Christian and don't believe that will help you, there are some things that you can do to help yourself to ease out of that feeling, and part of that is definitely accepting your intrinsic worth and the intrinsic worth of those around you. So that's my answer. That's how you overcome regret from someone who is grossly ill qualified to answer that question. Love ya.